welcome to another React decided by you guys. We've got some more Casual Geographic lined up, and this is the top 10 most criminally misunderstood animals. Enjoy!
Can recognize their caretakers and show affection. Will bond with certain individuals and follow them around. Will often bring someone an object and play tug-of-war. Gentle, inquisitive, and very intelligent. You'd think all this was from someone describing their dog. Actually, these quotes are all from people talking about vultures.
Really? Really? Okay, we're starting off with an interesting one.
The Jurassic-sized graveyard griefing alopecia pigeon actually has the personality of an imprinted puppy. You might not know that, because most times people see one, it's either thousands of feet above the earth looking for...
Can't vultures also, like, digest bone? Like, they actually can eat bone, or was that, like, a specific type of bird, a different one? I just remember that there was a specific type of bird that can actively eat bone.
Death, or on the ground feeding off it. Truth is, the vulture just might be the most generationally misunderstood bird, and in the spirit of Earth Day, I'm going to be talking about the top 10 most maligned and honestly reputationally screwed over animals. In my biased opinion. You can't please everyone, but I like my list, so let's get into it. Starting off, it's not hard to see how vultures got done dirty. It's pretty hard to earn public favor when you dive bowels deep in a bloated buffalo for a living. Then you add the fact that they'll leak liquid nasty all over their legs to stay cool.
Ew. Ew. Ew.
Projectile vomit in self-defense.
Again, ew. Ew.
And in a world of pretty privilege, vultures have a homely handicap. But anyone who's worked with them will swear by how smart they are. They're arguably the smartest birds that aren't corvids or parrots. And they're part of the exclusive group of animals able to make and use tools, with Egyptian vultures using a rock to have an ostrich-sized omelet. And yeah, get on their good side and it's like having a lapdog with wings. Apollo was a turkey vulture who apparently caught feelings for her caretaker Dave. They're also smart enough for a vulture vendetta to be a real thing. But what makes them underrated is just how much worse our quality of life would be without them. Botulinum toxins is the deadliest natural substance known to man, and vultures eat it like candy. Vultures can also tank tuberculosis and
they literally eat botulism. Great. I love it.
Anthrax and even the bubonic plague.
Oh, okay, alright, that's overpowered. What?
Folks associate them with death and disease, but that's exactly what they help prevent. And if you want to know what happens when you avoid vultures, look no further than India. With about a 99% loss, vultures in India suffered one of the worst bird blights in history, mostly thanks to a drug given to cattle that also caused kidney failure in the feathery coffins. And with less of nature's cleanup crew taking care of expired bodies, the number of
wait. In India? Are they Aren't cows sacred in India? Why are they farming cattle in India? Huh.
feral dogs went up, and so did cases of rabies. And if you remember my Halloween video, a rise in rabies might be the biggest jihad to the human race. But that's not the only social work vultures offer for free. The turkey vulture's nose is so OP, they've actually been used to help find gas leaks, with engineers putting special chemicals in pipes. And with them being more corpse happy than a necro in a morgue, many places rely on vultures as alarms against poaching activity. Unfortunately, the poachers started to catch on and have been murking the snitch tweeties by the hundreds, even the ones that are endangered. Worst part is, they're pretty easy targets because it's hard to hide when you're part-time in the sky, and there's no witness protection for a sewer store. Pretty easy to victimize when you're vulnerable and easy to track, and these are vultures we're talking about. It's not like they have cloaks or camouflage or a VPN. And you know, that last one would actually help a lot, since something like NordVPN would help the sky caskets go off the grid.
Ain't no way he just slid a NordVPN. Okay, well, look, we'll leave it going. We'll see where it goes.
Since NordVPN.
Oh my God, no, I'm sorry. I will crop that out of the video. Yes, I know, very bad person for me to do this. But I will give credit to him in the credits, I promise.
It's virtually risk-free. Nothing about being a vulture is risk-free. That's why the condor nearly got wiped off the census. But in a W from humanity, conservation efforts help bring the big bird back from the brink. Hopefully people start to come around to vultures. Anything that chill with capybara can't be that bad. Just too bad you can't say that about number 9. The Grim Reaper once released a gang of guppies into the Amazon and made it our problem. Or at least that's what you would think from how much the media
piranhas
gets
are awesome.
on them. You've probably heard that piranhas can undress a cow down to the bones in minutes, and that skinny dipping in a pool of piranhas is one way to get blacklisted from breathing. Truth is, these fish felons are mostly scavengers, and when you do see one with an expired body, they're usually not the cause, but a symptom. They don't go out of their way to homicide humans.
It also is it depends on the type you have, right? Like there's the red belly piranha, there's the black piranha, and the golden piranha. The black piranha is a lot more aggressive, but I believe it's also solitary. The red ones are the ones in the schools, but again, it's also really overstated.
Attacks involve people either splashing around like prey.
Yeah, the Mario Sunshine music goes hard.
Frenzy. But they're basically the bees of water. They don't want smoke, quite the opposite. For all that face, piranhas are naturally timid and scare easy.
So cute.
So much that you actually have to give them places to hide in an aquarium because of just how neurotic they are. Also, they're not strictly meat. They'll also eat fruits, they'll eat seeds, leaves. There's even a type that eats mostly river reeds. But that wouldn't really make a good movie, now would it?
Nope.
Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like they're not capable of mass destruction, but their PR team really did them filth. Jeremy Wade sat in a pool of allegedly trigger-happy piranhas and didn't even get touched. And
you're also not bleeding. I would assume if you're bleeding, it would be a lot worse, no?
the whole cow story came from a Theodore Roosevelt hunting expedition where he saw it happen. The catch is, the guides wanted to impress the president because who wouldn't? So they actually netted off a section of the river and starved the fish in it for a week, only to feed them with a cow while Roosevelt was watching. And just like the cow, the piranha's reputation never recovered. Sometimes all it takes is one incident to royally screw over an animal.
I wonder if he's going to talk about lemmings, because I know the whole lemming story is completely skewed as well, about like what's wrong with them, and Disney actually caused the problem.
Something next on the list knows all too well. Let's just get this out the way. There are some deaths where you never forget where you were the moment you found out. For me, that's Kobe Bryant, Chadwick Boseman, and of course, Khaki Animal Jesus, aka Steve Irwin. And many have had smoke for Stingray kind ever since. But before you go wage war on a water waffle, first we gotta talk about just what went down. For one, Steve Irwin got struck directly in the heart, causing massive bleeding. He also never traveled with anti-venom, because anti-venom was anti-Irwin. Wouldn't have mattered anyway, because it wasn't even the venom that did it. Again, it was the bleeding. Stingray venom isn't even all that fatal. And at the time, it was only the second reported stingray-related death in Australia since 1945. It took over an hour for him to get to emergency workers, but again, it probably wouldn't have made a difference. The point is, literally everything that could have possibly went wrong. Like piranhas, stingrays are what a New Yorker might call a scary ad that would rather run away than run a fade.
They're not aggressive.
I went to the Cayman Islands a couple of months ago and visited Stingray City, and as someone religiously terrified of the ocean, I can tell you, the crepe of the coast is in fact chill like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've dove with stingrays tons of times. They are so wonderful. Like stingrays, all the rays in general, like we've dealt with guitarfish, we've dealt with manta rays, stingrays. They are just lovely creatures. They're just really, really wonderful.
Pro tip, if you're ever walking around stingrays, do the stingray shuffle. You're just gonna want to drag your feet. Basically, you don't want them to leave the floor in case RNG makes you turn a ray into a welcome mat. Other than that, unless you're a crab or a fish, you really don't have much to worry about. Besides, let's not act like Steve Irwin, the same man that took a love bite from a cobra and said sorry to the snake, isn't somewhere in the afterlife eternally apologizing to the stingray for spooking him. Stingrays have been misunderstood ever since, but we can drop the vendetta. If we know anything about Steve, that's exactly what he would have wanted. Yeah, I'm really gonna have to explain putting dolphins here. Okay, well I feel like this weird thing happened where we went from Free Willy to finding out dolphins take that title seriously. So much that we ended up overcorrecting. And I personally and publicly talked endless amounts of shit. Don't get me wrong, the facts I said, I'll say again, I'll say it with my chest. But me calling them water Weinsteins or homicidal hot dogs
oh my god!
Nah, that's actually still crazy. But that's just me anthropomorphizing. I don't actually think they're evil. It's fun to treat them like humans, but they're still just wild animals doing what comes naturally. It's just that what comes naturally often involves them naturally. Actually, I should never mind. Look, with intelligent animals, there's always going to be duality, and I don't even need to say it. I just have to show you these two articles.
You know, that's actually a really good point. Like the more intelligent, oh my god, I love how it's the sunset as I say this. The more intelligent a creature is, the more risk there's involved, because there's not the same level of predictability, because we can only predict pattern, right? We can't predict what something can do that has the thought process to do so. So that's why dolphins end up befuddling people more often than not. And it's also why a dumb dog is a better dog to have, because they're friendlier and they're more loyal. A smart dog is the one that will take a crap at your door, so when you open it, it smears underneath.
But dolphins can be wholesome too. Like the same way parents will baby talk a toddler, mother dolphins actually do with their calves. They'll also sing to their baby before it's even born to teach them to recognize the sound of its mother's voice. We also found out that dolphins in a pod will often go out of their way to make less noise so to not confuse the calf in the oven. And when it's out, being a helicopter parent means mama dolphin won't sleep for up to a month straight. There's also decent evidence that dolphins get excited around pregnant women because they can detect the fetus and understand the implication of new life. And of course, there are stories of dolphins saving people from drowning and sharks. Hey man, I'm not going soft. I'm still gonna get my jokes off whenever I can. I just feel like because they're so smart, people make the mistake of holding them to human standards, which is pretty unfair considering a lot of humans don't even reach those. Dolphins aren't Disney characters or the spawn of Satan. They're just They're just them. And as the final boss of Dolphins, you can go ahead and put orcas in that too. The greatest trick squirrels ever pulled was convincing the world they're just whimsical, nut-loving creatures.
Okay, this one I know. These are little omnivorous little psychopaths. All right, we have these in New York, and I will say the gray squirrel. They will climb into a tree, find little baby birds, and they will murder them faster than you could blink.
When they're actually rodent psychopaths profiting off pretty privilege. They'll eat things like baby birds, baby bunnies, and even snakes. Red squirrels are also part-time cannibals, with males that'll seek and destroy any pups, only to get with the mother of the kids they just murked. Let's not forget that time a group of squirrels dismembered a dog for barking too loud. Also, the number of squirrels with manslaughter charges is higher than you think. It's estimated that chew-happy bushtails cause up to 30,000 fires a year, not only costing millions in damage, but likely barbecuing human collateral in the process.
Look, we had a baby squirrel that we took care of in the veterinary practice, right? And this little thing was the sweetest little baby ever. It would run around on your shoulder. It would stick in your shirt pockets of the scrubs. Oh, they were just the cutest little baby ever, all right? You would never know that there was evil behind those eyes.
There was even a time a squirrel damaged the electrical system of a complex with NASDAQ, freezing computers and crippling the market for over an hour. That wouldn't be the last time. In fact, one did the exact same thing 7 years later. Now, I know I'm doing the squirrels what I just admitted I've done to dolphins, but in my defense, I have a bias. I once got jumped by a pack of squirrels in Manhattan, and that was one half of a sandwich I never got.
See? You get jumped by a pack of squirrels in Manhattan. He understands. He relates. He understands where I am. This is the true terror of squirrels.
Got back. Moral of the story, there's a reason the smartest man in the universe immediately took a knee in the face of the Acorn Mafia. And here you have another case of animal gaslight. Pigs only get the reputation of being dirty because we keep them in filth. In reality, pigs are pretty clean, and when they have a choice, they'll refuse to poop anywhere near where they eat. Pigs are arguably smarter than cats and dogs.
Okay. I will also say, this is another example of the practice. We actually had a pig in the practice that we had for about 3 months, and this thing was the sweetest baby ever. I literally spent so much time with him. I would take him outside, let him hang out before we brought him in. Oh, he was such a good boy. He was the friendliest little dude ever. He just wanted to play catch. Oh my God, I loved him.
Say they're more trainable too. They somewhat passed the mirror test, and some were even taught to play video games. In '98, Lulu the Potbelly saved her owner from a near-fatal heart attack by rushing out into the road and playing dead until she could get someone's attention and lead them back home. I also feel like we forget how well pigs did without us, and from the Red River hog of the Congo, to the pygmy hog of India, to the bearded Borneo pig, the swine smart enough and adaptable enough to live virtually anywhere. On a dolphin-type beat, mother pigs will often sing to their piglets while nursing, and speaking of piglets, they can recognize their name at only 2 weeks old. You can argue pigs are everything we value in an animal. They're intelligent, they're affectionate, they're super trainable. Because they were bred for food, they got big screwed. Look, I'm not gonna virtue signal. You can give me 101 facts on cows, I'll probably still be out here door dashing McDonald's. But it's pretty criminal what we did to the pig's PR. Put it this way, this guy would have been by far the smartest character in the barnyard. They deserve way better than what they've gotten. And I'm not saying you have to give up bacon. All I'm gonna say is, according to cannibals, the closest tasting thing to human meat is pork. I'm gonna let y'all meditate on that.
I've heard that before. Because anatomically they're similar.
Rats are number 4, and almost entirely because they got blamed for the bubonic plague when the main carrier of the lice and fleas that caused it was likely humans themselves. My theory is rats are found in cities, and cities are usually dirty, so we often see all rats as dirty. In reality, rats are constantly cleaning themselves. In fact, one of the ways they bond is by grooming each other. It's called allogrooming. Speaking of bonds, rats can... I mean,
let's be honest though, like, rats are dirty. Like, I love them. They're very cute, but like the males literally create a urine trail wherever they go. If they find them with black lights because the male drags and pees as they're incontinent. So it literally drags urine. Like, I can find the actual fact for you because I'm going to get corrected somehow, some way, but I'm pretty sure that they either drag themselves or they're incontinent and there is a trail of urine they leave.
Often form emotional ones with humans, and anyone who's had a rat will tell you, at some point they'll try to groom you like you're a giant rat. Rats can also provide a public service, with many African poached rats actually being trained to sniff out tuberculosis.
So cute, though.
The same species has been used to sniff out hidden
landmines. Oh my God, the little
not only
leash.
Can they cover the ground in 20 minutes that would take a trained human days, they can obviously walk across the mines without going back to ground zero. Agawa, the explosive tech rat, earned a gold medal after sussing out 100 mines in Cambodia and clearing 225,000 square feet.
You know what? because I know that I'm going to get corrected, and even though I'm sure, even if I correct myself now, there's going to be a comment with a timestamp that's going to be like, actually, the rats do not do this, and blah, 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 blah. And then I'll get an edit underneath it. I'll be like, I should have kept on listening. All right. Do rats leave a urine trail? Yes, rats leave a trail of urine along their common pathways. Okay, thank God. I'm not going to be corrected on this one. I'll probably still be corrected on this one. All right, continuing.
He's not the only heroic rodent. There are several stories of rats saving owners from house fires where they easily could have hightailed it. You know, if it wasn't for the bad PR, rats just might be the top pet. Only bad side with them is they have short lifespans, and I'm
going to tell you guys something sad about the rats now too. In the practice, we actually had a person who had a rat with cancer. It was very sad. But what he would do is whenever he would get pizza, he would cut the tip of the pizza off and give it to his rat every day. So his rat would have a little slice of pizza with him. So he quite literally keep it. I am my editor. You're talking to me, Jim. I am my editor. I will keep it in. I am my own editor on this. But yeah, no, they would literally cut the tips of the pizza off and give it to them so they'd share a slice of pizza with them. It was really cute.
Your feelings will get hurt. You know, the fact that this is the only animal that needed a trigger warning is enough to put spiders at third. Now, I'm not going to downplay arachnophobia like I didn't used to backpedal to pigeons, but spiders are a great example of bark being way worse than their
Still
bite.
Don't like them.
Take the tarantula. They're like the granddaddy of arachnid anxiety, but not only is their venom about as bad as a bee sting,
don't care.
Not only are they so fragile they can literally explode if they fall a couple feet. Unlike bees, there's no record of tarantula venom terminating a person. Of course, there's thousands.
You don't need to be lethal to a person to be terrifying. There is something legitimately uncanny and terrifying about the spider form.
Thousands of types of tarantulas, and some are more of a jihad than others. But then you have the ones that adopt frogs as nannies, with the frog eating all the insects that could grief the spider's eggs, and the frog getting an 8-legged bodyguard. Truth is, there's about 50,000 species of spiders seasoning the earth, and less than 0.1% of them are a legitimate threat to your life. And that doesn't include the smallest spider in the world, the patou de bois, or jumping spiders, which are literally small enough to wear water as a hat. And when you add the fact that they basically have paws to help them walk vertical, and that some like the wolf spider can purr, are spiders not just a cat?
No, you're not calling spiders the cats of the insect world. No.
Cats of insects?
No.
My bad. Arachnids. According to the CDC.
Oh yeah, that's true. They're not insects. Arachnids are separate. My bad too. Okay.
Number of people murked by spiders a year is 7. You're more likely to get slept by a vindictive vending machine. Okay, you're not impressed. How about this? Spiders eat up to 800 million tons of insects that could otherwise destroy crops.
Yeah, yes.
If Thanos had
okay, again, they're useful. That doesn't mean that I need to like them. They're not misunderstood. They are freaking creepy. They are creepy. But I love what they do for the ecosystem. I don't want them to not be here. The only thing I don't want around is mosquitoes. But I mean, like, there's nothing that's gonna tell me to not be freaked out by them.
Spiders, not only would there be way less food, it would be stupid expensive. You can thank spiders for a 4 for 4 not setting you back 400. Not to mention all the pesticides we need to stay alive would ironically turn the earth into a disaster movie. Look, I'm not saying you got a cape for spiders. I know I'm biased. In fact, bias is probably why the next animal's number 2.
What is number 2?
I love Lion King, but they'll forever catch smoke for convincing an entire generation that hyenas are, well, hyenas. Hyenas got profiled as scavengers when up to 95% of what they eat is something they can get credit for killing. Gaslight goes crazy because the literal Lion King poaches more food from hyenas than hyenas hoe lions. And since the laugh happy vice strike eats every part of an animal, like land vultures, the world would be a much nastier place without the meerkat on a bulk. Everyone wants to shit on the garbage man until he quits and leaves you with the shit. But honestly, it's the stupid part that gets me heated. In experiments, spotted hyenas actually perform better in cooperative problem-solving tests than chimpanzees.
Wow.
You know, the chainsaw with thumbs we share 98% of our DNA with. Hyenas are way smarter than they get credit for. Take Waffles, for example. Waffles was a lady hyena in a clan, and at the very bottom of it, no less. And in just a year, she went from the dirt under the ladder to the alpha at the very top, and she didn't even have to fight for it. All she needed was the power of friendship. No, I'm serious. Waffles slowly made the right friends, built alliances with other low ranks, earned favor with some of the higher ups, and before the ones at the top could even realize it, the hyena named Waffles had caused what scientists would later refer to as the syrup rising.
Oh my, I love it.
And you'd think she'd go power hungry when she got the throne, but nah, the opposite. She never switched up on the ones that got her there, and there were even times where she helped feed the cubs of low status moms. Because hyena hierarchy is more about social networking and climbing the corporate ladder than just running fades all day. See, you wouldn't know that from just watching Lion King, and while some are starting to come around to this giant maligned mongoose, one movie ruined the last animal's rep damn near permanently. There was no way sharks weren't getting the #1 spot, and really, any way you look at it, we did this overgrown grief guppy grimy. How about the fact that the shark's KD ratio
sharks are really misunderstood. I know there's always that statistic saying how you're more likely to die from a coconut than from a shark. Look, I've done so much diving. I've done so much diving with sharks. Hell, I've been on a dive where you sit down on your knees in chainmail and you actually do a feeding frenzy. They feed. It's not feeding frenzy, but there'll be a dive instructor in the middle who will feed the reef tip sharks, and there'll be hundreds of them bumping into you, and it's just so damn interesting. They're such cool creatures. One of my fondest memories of when I was diving was actually one of my first dives, and it was, I believe, off West Palm, and we are maybe a couple miles out. And we're coming up on our safety stop. Now, a safety stop is something you do when you need to equalize pressure. So when you surf, because you have to wait before you surface, right? But regardless of the details of that, I look over, and maybe about like 100 feet away, or for people who don't like our system, like 33 meters away, there was this big hammerhead just swimming around. And it was just so damn beautiful to see. And we were just sitting there watching it. It was far enough away that it wasn't gonna, it probably knew we were there, but like it wasn't bothering us. It was so damn cool to see. It was so damn cool to see. I actually ended up getting that hammerhead tattooed on my calf as my first tattoo.
About 10 a year to the 100 million that get murked by people. What about the fact that a coconut to the dome or a bathtub accident is way more likely to flatline you than a shark? There's the fact that we have over 500 species of them, but really only about 4 are seen as legitimately dangerous, so I don't blame you for folding the great whites, tiger sharks, bull sharks, and the underrated oceanic white tip. But this is a shark, and it's unproblematic to anything that isn't plankton. Same thing with the basking, aka Kirby shark, which is really just a giant pacifish. Then you got white tip reef sharks that are not only non-aggressive, they cuddle each other to sleep.
Yeah, that's the one we were
the lemon
feeding.
shark being the golden retriever of the sea that'll often form bonds with divers. Blondie was an 8-foot lemon shark that would go up to divers, but the only thing she'd be hunting for is attention and affection. And while yeah, I'm not exactly a huge fan of this, at the end of the day, I wouldn't want a shark in my living room. You can't be mad when you go into theirs. Because if there's one thing you should take from this video, calling it shark-infested waters is really wild disrespect.
The only shark that scares me that I've dove near is bull sharks, because bull sharks are psychotic. I've never dove near a tiger shark, and I've never dove near a great white. But I will say that, and technically I shouldn't be near the hammerheads either. Thank God it was far away. But in hindsight, I look back at the memory fondly. But bull sharks, when we've dove in the same general area before, and we found evidence of them, and we got right out of the water. Bull sharks are the ones you don't mess with.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you drink water, hug your mother, and maybe give guppies a break. I promise you loan sharks and way more lives. Shout out to NordVPN for sponsoring this video, and I'ma see y'all in the next one.
I love it. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. Until next time.